Hello friends, my name is Akshay and you're watching Devotion Study. Today on Devotion Study we are going to learn about the Flexbox property. So in this lecture we are going to explain you how exactly a flex property works in HTML. So it's a complete explanation and you guys must have seen my first part of the Flexbox, because here I'm going to cover only the coding part and will explain you in a deeper way. All right, so without wasting time, let's get started. So first of all, today in this video here, I'll just create the HTML of it, and then I'll explain you and we'll go through with each and every property for of what a flex has, a flex box has. So let's start by creating a division, all right, with multiple boxes, because if we have multiple boxes we can I can explain you in a better way and you will be able to understand how exactly it will work. So we'll give a class as flex container. All right, this is the class name what we'll be using for our container, all right, where all the boxes would be kept. All right, so here first we'll create division. All right, we'll copy this division and we'll create around like 5 to 10 divisions. Okay, so here I'll try to copy multiple divisions so that you guys would be able to understand. So we'll just give them some numberings. Okay, 9 we have already given, 10 and 11. All right, so we have around 11 divisions. We'll try to give some we'll try to give some CSS. So before we start with that, let me explain you why do we need a Flexbox layout module. All right. So before the Flexbox layout module, came, what happened? We were using four layout. We were using four layouts model. And what are those blocks? First one would be block for section in a web page. We were using block, and then we were using inline for text, and then we were using table for two-dimensional data, and then we were using position for explicit position of an element. All right, so the flexbox module makes it easier to design a flexible responsive layout structure without using float or positioning. So it's pretty easier what we were using earlier. So all right, so to start with, we need to to start with the with using the flexbox module, we need to first define a container. So that's what we did. All right, so the basically the element represent a flex container where we have 10 or 11 items, flex items. These are flex items because we have a flex container, so we'll call them flex items. All right, so currently we have 11 flex items. All right, so we'll quickly go ahead and start creating the CSS for the container. All right, so in the style uh, tag, we'll just try to add the class containers property. All right, we'll try to add the attributes to the class. So first we'll give display. This is the most important attribute for using the flex properties. So we'll use display as flex. Okay, and we'll go through each and every property one by one. All right, so first we'll just give a background here. All right, background color, you can give any color. I'll just use okay, we'll use dark cyan. All right, this is the color what we're going to use. And then another property we'll go ahead and add, that would be flex container for division. All right, for the division we'll try to add the CSS. So the background color for all the boxes inside the container, All right, that is important. So that we can differentiate easily. That would be white. All right, width we are going to give would be 100 pixel. All right, each box, and then we'll give margin so that there should be no overlapping. We'll use 10 pixel as margin. All right, and then we'll use text alignment. So whatever the text would be there inside the box. For this example, we're using 1, 2, 3, the numbers, right? So it will be in center. Okay, after that, we will use a line height of like we can give 75 to 70 like 70 to 75 pixels, up to you. All right, and then we can use the font size. All right, so these are the basic properties what we have used, and let's try to quickly finish them all, and let's go back to our page, and we'll try to just open it. So flex.html, that's the page name. You can see this is a container having flex items. All right, this is a blue color one would be the container, the flex container, and these boxes are flex items. All right, these are the flex items. So one by one, we'll go through each and every property what a flex layout would be using. All right, so the one we are using this flex container, right? We're using display as flex. So this is the parent element. The flex container becomes flexible by setting display property to flex. If we won't use display to flex, it will not be flexible. All right, and this flex container would be having multiple properties, so we will go through each and every property one by one. So first of all, we will use flex direction. All right, we will use flex. As you can see, the intelligence shows multiple properties, and we'll go through each and every property one by one. So first we'll go through the direction, the flex direction. How exactly a flex direction do you want to set for our view? So first of all, we'll go through column wise. All right, if you'll set it to column, what will happen when you refresh? It will become in a column wise manner. All right, one below the other one. All right, so that's how we can use the direction property. Let's see what else do we have. All right, so this is the complete explanation about the flex. So this video gonna be a bit longer than what I'm expecting right now. So and okay, let's see what other properties do we have. So by default it was row. So use row reverse. Okay, let's refresh the page. You can see it's starting from 11. So by default it will be row, and when you use row reverse, it'll start with the last item, the last flex item. Okay, and what else do we have? So other than that, if you check, you'll get inherit, revert. Okay, let's see what revert will do. All right, we need to save it, and then we'll reload it. All right, when you use revert, it does nothing, right? So it's basically we don't have that much understanding. I mean, we don't need to use all the properties here. Most of the properties what we'll be using for flex would be, I mean, for the flex direction would be either row, column reverse, row reverse, or these kind of properties. Basically these 4 or 5 properties we'll be using, because other than that there is nothing relevance, all right, relevant for flex. You can see like revert, it does nothing. So column, row, column reverse, row reverse, these are major flexbox direction prop attributes. All right, if you want to use it, by default it will be row. Okay, so let's save it, and let's move on to our next property. All right, so next property would be flex wrap. All right, what exactly flex wrap does? The flex wrap property basically it specifies whether the flex item should wrap or not. What do you mean by wrap or not? Wrap or no wrap? right? What do you mean by that? So the I'll just quickly show what exactly it does. So we'll use flex wrap. So we'll call it wrap. Okay, we will use basically wrap or no wrap or wrap reverse. These would be we'll be using. So when we refresh it, right, it says wrap. All right. Now what will happen? Currently we have 11 boxes. So if I try to add one more box, okay, one more box. So what will it do? It'll wrap the content. If we will use no wrap in place of wrap, then what will happen? So basically, it should do something, right? It will not wrap the content. It'll basically it's shrinking the content. You can see now. Now again, if we'll add one more box, what it'll do? Let's see. We'll just call it 13. That's the new number for it. Okay. Again, you can see the box size is it's getting compressed, right? So there is some difference you can see, right? So wrap or no wrap, if you're using wrap, it will move the box to the next line if there is no space left. All right, but if you use no wrap, this value would specify that flex item will not wrap anymore, and this is the default property. So if you're not using it, by default, it will be no wrap. Okay. All right. So other than that, what we have, we can use wrap reverse or I'll show you one more. Okay. So we can use wrap reverse other than this. What this property will do, let's see, because you can see it's either wrap or no wrap or wrap reverse. That's it, right? So if we use a wrap reverse and we'll go back and we'll refresh the page, so it reverses the order, by setting the wrap reverse value it's specified that the flexible items what are there in the flex container will wrap if necessary, okay, in the reverse order. So it's necessary, right? Because it's wrapping the content and it's wrapping in the reverse order. All right, it's pretty easy, right? So this is what a flex wrap property will do. Now, the next property what we will be having, it will be flex flow. So let's see what this flex flow property will do. So we'll use flex flow. So the flex flow property, it's basically the shorthand property for setting both flex direction as well as flex wrap. So if you want to use both the properties together, you don't have to specify both the properties separately. You can use flex flow and then you can set that particular property together. So you can give row, okay, it's in in the row format, and then you can wrap the content too. All right, you can use wrap, no wrap, or whatever you want, right? So let's save it and just refresh the page. You can see it's wrapping the content in the row format. So if you give column here, okay, so it will change the orientation. Now it's vertical, right? So that's how flex flow property would work. It will basically merge the flex direction as well as flex wrap property. All right, next property what we have is justify content. This is another property, very beneficial property for the flexbox. Okay, so we will use justify content, and this property is used to basically align the flex items. If you want to align the flex item in center, we can use it as center. All right, let's refresh. Okay, for that we need to use less number of boxes, so I'll just use 3. I'll comment the rest of them. All right, so I'll just refresh the page. You can see now the items are in center basically because of because of the justify content property. Now we have multiple other properties as well. We can use other than center, we have flex start. So this is the default property, and flex start value, it aligns the flex item at the beginning of the container. All right, at the beginning of the container. So we'll just give flex start here, and let's see what exactly it'll do. All right, so let's go back to our page and let's reload. So it's basically using all the flex from the stack. Whatever flex items we have, it's basically aligning them from the start of the box, from the start of the container. If we use center, it'll go back to the center. All right, other than that, we have flex end. If you want it to be on the other side of the container, you can use flex end. You just save it and reload the page. You can see it just moved on the other side of the container, right? So this is the another property. Other than that, we can use justify a content as there's one more. I'll just quickly check this. It should be space around. Suppose if you want a flex box to have some space, you can see it will divide equal space around the boxes, all right, without interrupting the view of your page. So it'll allow the space around the boxes. But if you want in between, you can use space between property, in order to distribute the space in between of any of the two boxes. All right, you can see 1 and 2 would be having equal space, and then 2 and 3 would be having equal space. And similarly, by default, or I mean by default, you have the flex start, right? But if you want to add more properties, you can use, other than this, we have space evenly. So it'll distribute the space in like evenly. You can see it's similar to what we use the around property, right? So other than this, we have align item property with a flex. So what the align property would do, the align items property, I'm sorry, would do, it basically is used to align the flex item vertically. All right, we'll just use, I'll remove this one. So I'll just use align items. Let's start with center. Okay, so let's start with center. Okay, here. So yeah, let's reload the page and see what happens. So right now currently we have 1, 2 and 3. So we use like 200 pixel high container to better demonstrate it. So now we need to just add one more thing here. So we'll just add height of 200 pixel. Let's see. So what difference it's gonna make. So we'll just add a height of 200 pixel, and when we reload the page, you can see basically it's aligning this. The center value aligns the flex item in the middle of the container. And how exactly it will do? So you can see from the on the top and from the bottom, the 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 containers are in the center. All right, that's how exactly this would work. Other than that, you can use flex start as well, in order to use the align item property. So other than that, you can use flex start or flex end we have as well. So when you refresh, so it's starting from the top, or the starting from the from the top of the flex container. And if you use the flex end, it will move vertically on the other side of the container. So I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say here. When you use the align items, it will align the items vertically. So it's moving the items vertically from top to bottom when you're changing the property of it, because we have just increased the height of the container. That's the reason you can see the difference, right? So Other than that, we have stretch as well. So what stretch will do? Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's refresh the page and see. So this has what it does, what it does, it the stretch value basically stretches the flex items to fill the container. So whatever would be the container size, the flex item will take the size of the flex containers size basically, right? So this is the default one. So if you're using align items, so stretch would be the default property. All right, other than that we have baseline. So what exactly the baseline will do, let's change it. Okay, let's try to understand. So you can see here. So what happens? The baseline align, it aligns the flex items such as their baselines align. So we have added align items to baseline. Now we'll just do one thing. We'll just add a few headings here, like first of all H1. Okay. So you will understand the difference. And here we will add H6. Okay, we'll add 2, and then the third box will take H3. Okay, we'll just add H3 as 3. Okay, so let's refresh the page and see what happens. So you can see the align item baseline. It just aligns the flex item such as their baselines align. As in whatever it says here, it has H1. So that's the reason it took the size of that property, right? So that's how it becomes different from the other properties. So this example, what I have used just now, it basically uses the different font size, to demonstrate that item gets aligned by the text baseline. Whatever the text we are using, as in H1, H3, or H6, H1, H6, or H3, it is basically getting aligned by the text baseline. All right, so this is a very important one. Now we have another property, we call it align content. Okay, now we need to use the align content property in order to align the flex lines. All right, align the flex lines. Now what it will do, we'll just add 600 of pixel. All right, so that we can increase the size of uh, the container, and then we will use flex wrap. Okay, we'll use flex wrap as wrap. Okay, here, and we'll just move this content property to here. What we will be using, space between. All right, we'll just use space between. And when we, and one more thing, let's uncomment these boxes. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, you can see uh, because of H1, H2, and H3, whatever the heading we have used, because of that this the font size is different. Other than that, what it does, it just added some space. All right, you can see some space it has added, and it is giving equal space. Okay, so when we have added 600 pixel, the container's height, with the flex wrap property to set the wrap property, right? We use flex wrap to set wrap. After we use the align content space between, what it does, it basically you know shares the equal size. But what is happening, we'll just remove this to make you understand what is exactly happening right now. I'll just give 1, 2, 3 again, save it, and refresh the page. You can see it is giving equal space in between the the upper line and the below one. All right, the bottom and the top line, it has equal space in between. When you give space around property, okay, when you give space around, all right, let's see what happens. So it's giving equal space around the items, all right. So it basically displays the flex lines with spaces before, between, and after them. All right. By default, what we get with align content is stretch. If you're not mentioning any property, it will be stretch by default. So let's you can see we just reloaded the page. It stretches the items as per the height of the container. All right, whatever would be the height we have given, it will stretch the container up to that particular height size. All right. Now we have center as well. Okay, we have center other than stretch. Let's see what it does. So we'll reload the page and see. You can see it brings the flex items at the center of the container. And then other than that center, we have flex start. So this would change the flex. I'm sorry. So this would change the flex start. It'll move the flex lines at the start of the container. All right, just move the flex line to the start of the container. Similarly, if you use flex end, it'll move the items or lines to the end of the container. So we'll just move to the another property of a very important property in Flexbox, which we call perfect centering. Okay, so we'll just use a very basic example. We will solve a very common style problem. Perfect centering. We call it perfect centering. So when we want to achieve a perfect centering, what we will do with Flexbox, we will set both justify content alongside align items properties to center. So we will just use one box here for the example. Okay, and as I said, we need to use, I'll just remove all the property except the height and display. So we use justify content as center, and then align items center. So it will create a perfect centering. You can see this number is in the center of the page. Okay, as we have used background and other properties, that's the reason it's getting in this way. So it has created a perfect centering. I'll just add the we'll just cut this property and we'll paste it here for just for a moment. Okay, and okay, let's do one thing. We'll try to reverse the color. Okay, we'll just remove these two things. All right, and let's see, do we have it? Yeah. So now we have added the color back. You will understand what I'm talking about. So you can see this is the perfect centering based on the container size. It has fixed the item of the container in the middle of it, in the center of the container, that we will call perfect centering. Okay, another one. So suppose we have 4 division or 5 division. Now we can use child elements. Okay, the direct child elements of flex container, it automatically flexible. These are automatically flexible. So well, I'll create one example for you and will make you understand what exactly child element will do. All right. So suppose we have a few boxes. We'll just cut down the box number of boxes to 4. Okay, rest we will comment. All right. So here we have 4 boxes, right? And for the container, we'll be using display as flex and a background color. That's it. All right. Rest we will remove it. Okay. These two properties we'll be using. Other than that, for background, here we have white as usual, and then we will use the width of 100 pixel, and margin would be similar. Text align, we can use center, same. Rest of the properties would be same, and that's it. We are not going to touch the containers divisions property. Okay, we have now if we reload the page. Okay, so we have four boxes. All the direct children of the flexible container becomes flexible items. These are the flexible items. All right, this is basically the child element. These are the child elements, we call them children. Okay, for the flex container. So they have few properties. Okay, so what are those properties? We'll go through each and every property one by one. So first of all, we have the order property. We need, if you want to set the order of these child or these children, all right. We need to set the property. And what is the property? This is the division, right? These are the divisions. Let's figure out the property. We let's use align item here, stretch. Okay, right. So we are using stretch align item. Now, as I said, we need to use the order. Okay, so you can give the order here to the division style. You can add the order attribute or property here to 3. Okay, this is the order 3. So this would get an order of the order of this particular box would be third. This would become second. Another one would be 1 or 4 we can give. All right. Then this would be 1. All right, let's reload the page and see what happens. So right now 1 2 3 4, right? And reload, when we reload it, 4 2 1 3. So it's up to us how we need to manipulate the order of the boxes. So basically the first flex item in the code does not have to appear as the first item in the layout. Why? Because we have changed the order. The order value must be a number. Make sure you're using as a number. Default value would be 0. All right, so if you're not using any order value, it will take 0 as the default one. All right, so next property what we have, it will be flex grow property. So the flex grow property, it specify how much a flex item will grow relative to the rest of the flex items. All right, related to the rest of the flex items. So for that we need to use under the in the styling we can use flex grow. Okay, where do you see? Yeah, here flex grow, and we can give 1. All right, this is the property value. So and we can give 1 to this as well, and we can give this to 8, and this we will just comment it. Let's reload it. You can see 1 has got, this is 1, right? Okay, something wrong has, okay, we haven't given the property to these. Okay, this would be 1, this would get 8. All right, okay, so let's save it and let's reload the page. Let's see what happens. So 1 2 and this has 3. What if I give this the second one as 4? So it will take 4. All right, so that's how the property would work. The flex grow property, it'll grow, it'll grow how much, basically whatever the value you'll be giving specifies that how much a flex item will grow relative to the rest of the flex item. That is the main important point, the most important point, sorry. So another one would be the flex shrink property. we will use shrink here. You can see here flex shrink. Okay, uh, just add flex shrink here as well. Okay, so flex shrink we have given. All right, so this box I'll give 0. Okay, and other than that, so what exactly it does, first let's try to understand that. So flex shrink property basically is specify how much a flex item will shrink relative to the rest of the item. Okay, so if I've given okay, let's do one thing, let's uncomment all the boxes. And this as well, we'll remove this style from here. Let's reload the page and see what happens. So you can see the third one has got shrink and the second one as well. This is the third one, which has the lesser the least size, right? Uh, and the second one what we have, right? It has got shrink too. All right, and other than that, other boxes are same because the first one we have given 0. That's the reason the size it remains the same. All right, so it's getting shrink basically. That's the main reason behind this property. Other than that, we have flex basis. Flex basis property specifies the initial length of the flex item. So let's understand that. Suppose we have these many boxes, and if we remove these properties and we'll just keep third as our experimental box, so we'll give flex basis. All right, flex basis, we need to specify the pixels, how many pixels. Okay, let's see, we are giving 200 pixels. All right, so when we reload you can see, so basically it specifies the initial length of the flex item. What would be the initial length? So this is the initial length. All right, so the next property is flex property, and this is a shortened property for flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. As in, you can combine all the three properties into flex. All right, so in order to combine them, you need to give three values. So first is uh, for the flex grow, you can give 0 or whatever value you want. Second would be the flex shrink. I don't want it to be shrink. So, and the third one would be 200 pixel for flex basis. All right. So if you give that and reload the page, let's see what happens. So it works. All right. So what we did, we just combined all the three properties into one. All right. So next is align self property. Okay, align self property basically specifies the element of the element for the selected item inside the flexible container. So whatever property it basically specifies the alignment for selected item. Whatever property we are assigning to any specific or selected item, it will work on that first of all, or it will override the default alignment set by the container's alignment property. So if you have any property set to, like suppose we have given stretch, so and we are providing we are giving this align self property to any of these divisions, so it will override this property and it will acquire the property what this would be having. So for example, if we'll change this flex to align self, so on the top we have given stretch, right? Here we will give center. So it will override the parents property basically. All right. So this is what we have. So we'll just do one thing. We'll uh, change all. We'll just comment all these boxes. Okay, and let's see what happens. And we'll just increase the size of this as well. Like let's increase the height by 600 pixel. Okay, so you would better understand that. Yeah, so this is overriding the property set by the flex container. It's taking its own alignment, and these the other three boxes are taking the alignment set by the parent one. All right, so they are not overriding. So only the one which overrides has alignment, align self property. Okay. Other than that, you can give flex start and flex end to the self property. For example, flex start, so it will move the box to on the top of it, or end will do the reverse. Okay, this one. All right, so we'll just reload the page and flex end we have given, right? Oh, self end, sorry. So we'll just give flex end. So what it'll do, it'll just reverse the, you know, the side to the other side of the box. All right. So these are the flex properties we have seen: display, flex direction, justify content, align items, flex wrap, align content, flex flow, order, align self, and flex. All right, so I hope you have liked this video, and if you have liked this video and the complete explanation about the Flexbox, which I apparently did not cover in my previous video, so I have come up with the complete solution of Flexbox. I hope you have liked it, and if you have, please do subscribe to my channel, comment down below, and help me understanding what exactly are your thoughts about this video. And if you have any suggestion, please post your suggestions as well. I'll see you in the next tutorial, guys. Till then, keep coding. Have a nice day. Bye bye.